Well, I'm just on my way down for a mudlark and I just had a bit of a shock because I put my foot in my boot, my pink boot, and felt something at the bottom of my boot. Well, I thought, oh, it must be a stone, so I picked it up and tipped it out and nothing came out, so I put my foot back in again and again felt this hard thing at the end of the toe, and then I put my hand in and out popped a crab. So somehow or other I've managed to transport a crab in the boot of my car, which has climbed into my actual boot. So he's actually in a sock with pink flamingos on. So here we are with the crab. There you are, little crab. There you go. There you are, you're home now. Now, can you see what I can see just down there in the waves? It's another one of my favourite things. It's a beautiful old padlock, and the beauty of these is that sometimes you can find out something else about them when you get rid of all that rust. So who knows what's behind that rust? We could unlock a really interesting story. How exciting. Look down here. I found a piece of ceramic, but it's a beautiful little lion. Or a dog, actually. I think that's a dog. You see his tail? There's his little face. How cute is that? I've just found a round thing with a hole in it. I don't know if it's got something on it. Well, it has actually. It's a round thing with a hole, so it's clearly like a coin, because I can see some markings. I've got another one of these little little gaming tokens here, so I'll pop that in my plastic bag, because I forgot my other bag, and just rinse off this thing here and see what it is. Really curious. So, it is a coin, I think, or it's something with the markings on. Maybe it's a coin that's been turned into a nut or something. See that? You can see there's markings on it. I was just walking along and I spotted part of a pipe bowl sticking out of the mud here, and I've got to get it quickly because the tide is on the way in. So here it is, can you see? Pipe dream. Just seen this. It looks like a brooch. I shall turn it over. I haven't turned it over yet to see what's on the other side, but see an interesting design from that side. We turn it over and see what it is. Well, it's a little brooch, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Pretty, it's got a stone there. Or maybe it's that way round. I don't know. Anyone? Very pretty, whatever it is. Oh, look at these little babies coming along. I just saw a little piece of metal sticking out of the mud and prized it out with my trowel. You can see it here, look. I haven't cleaned it yet, but I can see it's part of a really pretty buckle. Wow, what a treat. Okay, let's go and give it a little rinse off. Oh, I was not expecting that. It's part of an old buckle. Oh, that's really nice. Look at that. Now just down here, protruding out of the mud, it looks like the remainders of some kind of old wallet, you see? Just there. So, it's going to be interesting to see what it is. I'm going to excavate it and see if it's an old purse or something. Well, yes it is, look. It looks like it's been there for some time. And it's like a long wallet. I'm going to take it and give it a little rinse and see if we can see what it used to look like. It's got that nice little fasten-y bit there. I wonder how old it is. It's falling apart. Somebody obviously lost that or had it stolen at some point. Okay, well, stay tuned to see what it looks like when it's had a little bit of a wash and brush up. Ooh, this looks like a padlock, and I love finding padlocks. And this one does have a name on it, look. Oh, and that's so weird, because you know what, I actually have one with this on it, Braithwaite and Dean, but the one I've got you can hardly read. This is a real gift. So you can actually read this one, and I can find out a bit more about Braithwaite and Dean. I started to look into it, but I need to continue. Oh, perfect. I just love these finds with names on that you can link to the past. Into the bag it goes. Here's a pipe stem, and you can see the heel here, so there's very probably a bowl on the end. It would be great if it had a maker's mark so that we can trace the maker. Let's have a look. Look at that. I just love the way they pop out. And does it have a design on it? Now I can feel it does. That's great news. That's absolutely brilliant news. It does have a design. And it looks like, yeah, the Prince of Wales feathers, I think. That's beautiful. Let's give it a little wash. Yeah, now when it fades we'll be able to see the design better. But it's got the 3 feathers there. Stunning. Now tell me when you see something. I've just spotted something around this area. And yes, it's a button. And it's just here. As always. Front. And yeah, I can feel that there is something. Let's have a look. That looks like the Prince of Wales feathers, if I'm not much mistaken. Sometimes you look down and you find the most perfect piece of broken pottery, and it seems to have broken in just the right place, and I've just found this little piece here, and look, isn't it adorable? Gorgeous. These little mini artworks scattered on the foreshore. I've just seen something rather precious down here. Can you see it down there, close to the pillar? I'll zoom in closely. Can you see it now? It's a little lead toy. Here we are. Oh, that's beautiful. It's a little bit bent out of shape, but in extremely good condition. See the chief, with his feather, with his headdress, and the horse, sort of slightly looking that way. Oh, that's so beautiful. Just think the child who played with that has long departed this planet. Well, it's been very stormy recently, and so consequently I think lots of things have been washed up. And my eye was just caught by a glint of colour. Let's see if you can see it. I haven't picked it up yet, and it looks really, really pretty. I'm turning around, I'm going to go back, see if you can see what I'm looking at. I'll give you a clue, it's red. And it's just here. It looks like a beautiful glass red stopper. Just look at that. Now that is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? everyone, thank you very much for watching. I'm now going to do a little roundup of the objects which featured in today's video, and I'm going to start with these two padlocks here, which were found on different days, probably about 2 weeks apart. Now this first one here, which was really crusted up with rust, a few taps of a hammer later, the rust came off and revealed some lettering which reads Braithwaite and Dean. Now when I looked up Braithwaite and Dean, I came across a very good blog called Know Your London, which is full of really interesting historical facts about different parts of London. And this blog, all about Braithwaite and Dean, tells the story of this lighterage company based in Rotherhithe, which was started in 1920 by Charles Braithwaite. What's interesting is when you actually go to the Rotherhithe foreshore to do any mudlarking, you can see this one building all on its own, and it's sometimes referred to as the Leaning Tower of Rotherhithe. And it's that building that was the premises of Braithwaite and Dean from about 1920 right up to 1980. And in 1960 it would have had buildings next to it on either side all the way along that street. But in the 1960s, the GLC, the Greater London Council, wanted to extend the park behind it and so bought all the other buildings, knocked them down, but Braithwaite and Dean refused to sell their building. So now it's left there sort of very conspicuous, all on its own. Now a lighterage company, well, in their adverts it actually describes that they are barge and tug owners, lightermen, goods of all classes collected and delivered to inland destinations. Now lighters are flat-bottomed barges, and lightermen moved goods between ships and quays. Braithwaite and Dean did pretty well actually. They were one of the sole survivors of London lighterage until they closed down in the early 1980s. So that's the story of Braithwaite and Dean, and if you go onto this blog you will be able to read a little bit more about them. So going across to this padlock here, now this is very interesting because this padlock also has marked on it Braithwaite and Dean, but unlike the other one, on the other side it says, well, there is a name on it. Now I can't quite make out whether it's W.C. Pace or W.G. Page. I'm going to put that up on the screen now, so if any of you have any views on that, let me know. And what's interesting is that if it is Pace, that would make perfect sense because George Pace, also a lighterage company, had a building just a couple of doors down from Braithwaite and Dean, and in fact they were friends but also competitors. So I'm not sure if it's them, but why would they have their name on the other side of the padlock with Braithwaite and Dean on the other side? I don't know. Also, this W.C. Pace or W.G. Page, underneath it says Limehouse and Poplar. So I'm a little confused as to why there's one name on one side and one on the other. Unless, of course, Page or Pace was the locksmith that made the padlock. I don't know. So if you have any thoughts about that, please let me know. So now I'm going to move on to this little token here with a hole in it, because yes, that's what it is a token. I nearly didn't pick it up. It looked like a little washer or something, but having given it a little clean, it's actually a token from the mid-19th century, and on one side it says Thomas Pattinson, who was a grocer in Newcastle at number 3 Pilgrim Street. And on the other side it says something like, let me just check because you can't see it on this one, it's so faded. It says Cheap Tea Coffee Warehouse. And actually I do have a picture here of one of those tokens in a lot better condition. I've no idea why it's got a hole in it. It would be interesting to know. But that's what it is, a token that could be used at Thomas Pattinson's grocers in Newcastle to the value of 1 farthing. Now moving on to this buckle buckle here. Now I recalled that my Mud Buddy Side Finds found a buckle like this also not that long ago, so I've got the footage of him here when he's finding it.
Well, the next find for your delectation is part of a buckle. Now it's quite an early one. I think it's probably got to be 300-400-year-old buckle. Parts of this is the middle section that would have swiveled, so you're missing the big bit on the outside. You can see at the top there where it would have inlaid into a brass Georgian buckle.
And it's actually the sort of inside of a buckle that dates back to about the 17th, 18th century. In this book here, this is a fantastic book by the way, it's by Ivor Noel Hume, Treasure in the Thames. There's actually a photograph here and it shows what this buckle would look like if it was actually in its entirety, because this is just the inside part of it. And I do have sort of part of an external bit of buckle here, so if this went on top like that, you can sort of get an idea of what the whole buckle looked like. But there it is. Looks quite dangerous actually. But that is, according to Ivor Noel Hume, 15th to 18th century, and I'm thinking probably more like 17th, 18th century, this one. What else have we got here? Now this pipe here with this rather impressive long spur. Now this is an armorial pipe. And most armorial pipes, which are decorated with like a heraldic crest, a royal crest, in this case the Prince of Wales ostrich feathers, and they usually date back to early 18th century. So this one is here, it's got its resplendent feathers, and it often has on the side, I do have one which says Ich Dien on either side. I've got another one, here it is, yes, this is another one, a slight variety of the same sort of thing with the Prince of Wales feathers. And I also have one which does have a royal crest on it here too. So collectively those are known as armorial pipes and they date back to sort of early 18th century. What else have we got here? Oh, of course, my other long pipe here, which is also early 18th century, and some people have asked about my clay tobacco pipe book, which is just here, and it's by Eric G. Ato. It's very, very good, very informative. So this is a nice example of an early 18th century pipe here. Talking of Prince of Wales feathers, I've also got this little tiny button. It's quite difficult to see, but on the bottom of it, it's got 77 underneath the Prince of Wales feathers. So I don't know what this is yet, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. It's got the Prince of Wales feathers and then 77, which I suppose must relate to a regiment. What else? This pretty brooch here. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be anything or whether it's just a random kind of design. It's rather pretty anyway. And I also have this lead Native American chief on his horse. I've got a few of these lead horses and lead Native Americans here, and often the legs seem to sort of get very bendy. It's funny to think that children used to play with these lead toys, and I wonder how many of them were chewed by younger children. But I do have a little collection of these lead warriors here. And I would imagine that they probably also date back to the mid-19th, late 19th century, I should have thought. You can still see the detail on this. You can still see some red paint on his chaps or on his trousers. Oh, my little red bottle stopper. I would very much like to have shown you that and given you a closer look, but it's one of these objects which as soon as I found it and got home, can I find it anywhere? No, I cannot find it anywhere. I know it has to be here somewhere, but I can't find it. So one of these days I'm going to have a lovely surprise when I suddenly find it in a drawer or on the floor or something. What else? Got this little pottery dog, which probably came off of a casserole dish or something. I think that's everything. I shall just quickly check. So often I finish and then I think, damn, I forgot that. So I did write a list. Oh, I forgot to mention my old falling apart wallet here, which I'm going to make a little picture with, or a collage. There's something about it which I rather like. And of course all the old fabric, sort of leather that was around it, has just disintegrated and fell off as soon as I got it home. That is it. So I'd just now like to thank you again for watching, and thank you for your comments and feedback on my previous videos. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. And I'd like to wish you a very, very happy week ahead, wherever you may be. And I'll see you again very soon. Thank you very much.